Welcome to Star Wars The Clone Wars Download. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Shattered.
The clones turned against me. Even Rex. I don't know why, they just suddenly weren't themselves.
With the battle on Mandalore over and Maul captured, Ahsoka checks in with the Jedi Council, but Yoda senses she isn't telling them everything.
More to say, have you? A message for Skywalker, perhaps?
Ahsoka and the clones make their way off-planet with their captive. While Rex receives a transmission, Ahsoka senses something is wrong.
I need him!
Finding herself being hunted by the clones she once fought alongside, Ahsoka searches for answers and discovers a secure file on the Clone Trooper 5s.
Clone Trooper CT-5555 experienced a malfunction with his inhibitor chip.
In the medical bay, Ahsoka, along with some helpful droids, get to work on Rex, hoping to get her friend back.
Rex, are you okay?
Yeah, kid. I'm okay.
And now we have an incoming transmission from Dave Filoni. Here's what he has to say.
I am Dave Filoni, executive producer and supervising director of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and I'm here today to talk about the episode Shattered. Showing Order 66 on the Clone Wars was kind of an inevitability. I had thought of it for a long time, and how would we play it out? What was the point of view? We had seen it in the film largely from the point of view of all of the Jedi throughout the galaxy. You have to understand, as in a cinematic portrayal, to keep things moving, you're showing this beat after beat after beat of these Jedi going down. And it probably in a lot of cases was quick and sudden as it was portrayed. But I thought there were probably also instances where it was a slightly longer event and some Jedi held out a bit longer or more, or even survived. As we found in the years since the film Revenge of the Sith, many Jedi did survive the Order. So in the end, I wanted to show the perspective of Ahsoka and Rex. And this is where I admit it does pay off if you've watched a lot of seasons of Clone Wars to understand how it is that Rex is aware of the possibility of this order. That obviously had a big impact on the story we were going to tell, and I thought there was an opportunity to show that while the Jedi Council, who unfortunately makes several wrong judgments towards the end of the war, and because they're politically being compromised, they're unwilling to go up against the Senate or the Chancellor, they don't understand the full truth of what was going on in the moments that Fives played out the story of what happens with Order 66 in that earlier arc. So it's not seen as a big conspiracy, though there probably are fears about it. And there's enough fears that Rex, for his friends, wants to go on record saying there might be more to this, I don't know. It's almost like leaving breadcrumbs in case something happens badly, that someone could pick up the trail of this and do something about it, and the somebody in this case turns out to be Ahsoka.
Now let's hear what cast and crew has to say about Shattered.
Ahsoka's world is literally shattering in this episode. Everything she knows and believes in is turned upside down. I think she doesn't know what to believe at this point, and Order 66 is literally happening.
Having Rex get that order and to make that switch felt like a thunderbolt. To switch that character into this kind of mode against those that he loved and that we had established and worked with for so many seasons, that's kind of a horrifying moment. The way I played it was that there was still some internal resistance to the order for Rex, but this was an inevitable thing that was programmed in to all clones, and so it's ultimately something that you can't resist by force of will. But I tried to show that there was some part of Rex that was still lingering there, fighting back.
Ahsoka escaping, that was always a really big moment that Dave really wanted us to tell, because how do you get her out of this situation? And it took a lot to make sure that you bought the fact that she was there and then she was gone. So it was really a combination, I think, of all across the board, from story to animation to lighting to effects, to really pull it off.
When Ahsoka saves Rex, now they have to figure out how to survive, and the odds are not in their favor, but at least she knows she's not alone.
Last week we asked if you had any questions about the Phantom Apprentice. At JediJ15 asked, there's a moment in the battle between Maul and Ahsoka when Maul is kicked out of the window and Ahsoka gets up and is in a bit of a panic. but then recenters herself. Was she simply realizing how aggressive Maul is, or was she thinking about something deeper? Dave Filoni, executive producer and supervising director, answered, "When Ahsoka pauses and struggles at the break in the fight, it was really meant to portray the toll it took on her to compete against Maul. I knew Maul had to lose this fight, but I didn't want to make it easy. I wanted it to take a lot out of Ahsoka to compete at his level. He is the stronger sword fighter, but he is very overconfident. Part of Maul's character is he underestimates his opponent, and he fails time and again to overcome this flaw. Still, it should be difficult for Ahsoka, and it should take all of her focus and the ability to control her fear to allow her to defeat Maul in the end." Have any burning questions about Shattered? Tweet us your questions using the hashtag #CloneWarsDownload, and maybe you'll see your question answered on the show. Want to learn more about this episode? Head to StarWars.com/Shattered to check out the episode guide. And don't forget to check back later this week for our deep dive into Victory and Death.